Hello everybody and welcome for this special series that we do. We basically look at videos and we determine if they are likely real or likely fake. This video of Bigfoot has been going around making waves, getting all the normies excited. We're gonna look deeply at this video and determine what's really going on here.
It's an elusive creature. Alright, just squat it down. Yeah, let me see your camera, I'll do it.
Before I go into what's going on here, I want to talk about Bigfoot. There's this weird thing about Bigfoot. Now, let me preface this by saying that, do I believe Bigfoot is real? Yes, 100%. There's no doubt in my mind. Have I seen a Bigfoot before? No. But I've talked to many people who have. There are ghost hunting communities, people who like to go ghost hunting and they'll make videos and they'll go to haunted spots. There are also, believe it or not, Bigfoot hunting communities, people who really get into it and they go in the forest and they look for Bigfoot. One of the people I've talked to, his name is Stacy Brown. And if you look at the screen here, this is Stacy. He's got, I guess, has a podcast here. You can see he's a very, what would you say, mountain man.
Mountain man.
He's a very mountain man. I'm actually surprised that Stacy hasn't flat out caught a Bigfoot in a cage yet and put him on display in a zoo for everyone to see. Stacy is a Bigfoot hunting master. In fact, he was on some show on TNT about hunting Bigfoot and he won that show. Dean Cain was the host of the show and Stacy won that. But one of the things he captured many years ago was Bigfoot on camera. Now this was caught using a flare camera. A flare camera picks up imagery using heat signatures. The one he had in this video didn't use color, which meant it was a cheaper model. Because these cameras are like thousands and thousands of dollars. They're not cheap. Ghost hunters will use them as well. And the hotter a heat signature is, it'll be like a darker red. But in this, they're just different shades of gray. Now, this video you're about to see is an actual Bigfoot, or a Sasquatch, as they would like to say. All right, so we're seeing a tree here, and you see the darker signature there, that's something that's like hiding behind this tree. Now it's gonna come out, it's gonna take a big old step. There it is, behind the next tree. Now that may not seem so fantastic of an image, but look at that long stride. People have gone out, and actually there's the show that's I think on Animal Planet called Bigfoot Hunters or something like that, and they actually did an episode on this where they've gone out and they've looked at the trees, where these trees are, and where he was filming on this tape.
It took you 2 steps to get to that one spot.
Look at the length of the arms and the legs.
Look at the hand.
Yeah, it's the hands.
The point is that no human could take that long of a stride. This is like a 10-foot tall creature that did this. You could go to somebody and you could say, I believe in ghosts. And they'll say, oh, okay, reasonable. I believe in aliens. At this point, you have to be crazy not to. You could say, I believe in Bigfoot. Most of the times, people will laugh in your face and they'll be like, you believe in, what are you, some kind of idiot? And how did we get to this point? I would say maybe 10 years ago, maybe more. There was a group and they said, we caught a Bigfoot. We're gonna have a press conference tomorrow about this Bigfoot that we caught. And the next day, they came out and they just showed the press a Bigfoot costume. Literally just a costume that they bought from the store. Why would they do this? What benefit is there to be had in this? 2008. That's about what I thought. It's more than 10 years ago. The website that promoted the finding of the supposed remains of the legendary Bigfoot has confirmed what most people suspected. The body was nothing more than a rubber Sasquatch costume. An investigator with Searching for Bigfoot Inc., the group that promoted the discovery, reported the confirmation on Tuesday, just 4 days after a circus-like news conference in which 2 Georgia men claimed they had bagged the dead body of the mythical man-ape. They claimed that they stumbled across the corpse in the woods of northern Georgia. The website reportedly paid them an undisclosed amount of money for the freezer they said contained the body. Because my question is, why would somebody do this? And so I suppose you have an answer there, was money. But the bigger thing that happens when people do things like this is it poisons the well. It makes every other conversation about Bigfoot impossible. This is what people will think of when they think of Bigfoot. Oh, it's a big joke. Somebody's wearing a costume. Even that old famous Bigfoot footage, that is likely a guy walking around in a costume. How can you have a serious conversation? This is what happened in the media with UFOs for practically 100 years, where nobody could come forward because the media would make fun of them and laugh at them as if they're crazy people. This is what's happened to Bigfoot forever. And anyway, Anna, I'm talking a lot. You haven't said a word. How do you feel about all this?
Well, I already know how I feel about the first video we watched.
Well, how do you feel about Bigfoot in general? What do you think about?
I believe it could absolutely be real.
Well, what do you think about like people faking it and all that stuff?
I think it's annoying because, yeah, you have to ask yourself, like, they're just trying to get attention, and they are, I think, spoiling the well, as you called it.
Poisoning the well.
Poisoning the well is a good way of putting it, is that it does make people think that's, you know, a bunch of BS. But we've proven aliens are real, so how is it that far off?
There are people who are trying to prove that there is something unusual going on. And of course you say, well, why can't we get Bigfoot on tape in 2023 when everybody's got cameras in their pockets? Well, that's the conversation then you get into about potentially Bigfoot being an interdimensional creature or slipping into invisibility and all this other stuff. But now that we've gotten all that out of the way, because I think it's important to have a background on Bigfoot, let's dive deeper into this clip. What do you think about the clip?
I think it's fake.
What do you think it is? Guy in a costume?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the original Facebook post. Shannon Parker. They were on a train, as I'm sure you were able to figure out. It's story time, y'all! On Sunday, October 8, 2023, Stetson Tyler and I took the narrow gauge train ride from Durango to Silverton. After leaving Silverton and heading back to Durango, I asked Stetson to help me look for elk in the mountains. As we are passing by the mountains, Stetson sees something moving and then says, "I think it's Bigfoot." Brandon, the guy sitting next to Stetson on the train, grabs his phone and starts recording. Meanwhile, I'm trying to get a photo on my camera. Below is the video from the other guy. Y'all, out of the hundreds of people on the train, 3 or 4 of us actually saw, as Stetson in the video, elusive creature, Bigfoot. So here's the girl, took some pictures, and we have the original video. I've taken the original video, I put it into the editing software. We're going to look at it up close. Now, when I first saw this clip, I thought what Ann thought, and I said, this must be a guy in a costume. But then, if it is a guy in a costume, you ask yourself, well, who set this up? Are the people on the train in on it? To me, the people on the train sound like they legitimately are believing what they're seeing.
No, I don't believe that. I think the people on the train would have been more like, oh my God. Like, I'd be like,
right.
What is that? And
let's listen to the people.
They weren't that surprised.
It's an elusive creature. Alright, just squat it down.
Where at?
Yeah, let me see your camera, I'll do it.
I can see why you would be skeptical, but that could just be maybe they're boring people and have boring personalities. Let's look at this movement here, which seems very human-like to me. Before he decides to sit down, he throws out his arms and then sort of squats down and almost adjusts his legs as if they're pants to push them down. You know, when you sit down and you want to sort of brush out your pants a little bit. That's what I'm seeing there. And then he sort of sits in a very human-like posture, which if a creature is bipedal like a human, maybe they all would sit like that. Right here, it's very, very delicate stepping. Where if you're spending your whole life out in this landscape, you're not going to struggle in any way. And this creature is kind of like, okay, you gotta carefully step here. I'm gonna carefully step here, and then I'm gonna okay, I'm sitting down. Yep, I'm gonna blend in with the bushes. That's not the behavior of a creature that's been out in the wild. Basically what I'm getting at is this is absolute bullshit. It's not Bigfoot.
I love how the guy described the Bigfoot as elusive. I was like, not really. He's walking in the middle of nowhere with like no trees around him and then squats down.
Yeah,
I'm hiding now.
Well, I guess you guys got me.
Yeah, I'm just
It's been a couple thousand years, but whoops.
Yeah.
You got me this time.
Yeah. It's never out in broad daylight, at least not without wooded trees or things surrounding it where it could like magically disappear if suddenly there are people around it. It doesn't just go walking through an open field and then squat because, oh, I think something's looking at me. Like, that doesn't sound like the description of Bigfoot that I've heard.
Where is this taking place? Is it possible for a human to get here easily? Because this looks like middle of nowhere, right? It's next to a train. So I looked into where these people said they were and where it is likely that this happened. The train tracks run parallel to this river. It is likely that the video was recorded somewhere around here. The San Juan National Forest. I say, oh, boy, there's campgrounds over here. There's a road. There's all sorts of civilization around here. So would it be hard for somebody to get there? Not really. And I happened to find an article. And the question is that these people are asking, who benefits from this? Well, I looked up this train route and I said, boy, what a nice train route. That would be like a nice little trip to do. And the people have reported that all of a sudden, it's been good for business. However, the owner of the railroad says it has nothing to do with it. But people are benefiting. So now here is where I think the answer is. Deanne Gallegos, Executive Director of Visit Silverton, that's like a tourism group for the town, offered a solid theory to the Herald. Gallegos tells the Herald a man reportedly involved with a film production crew was at the visitor center last week and asked if there had been any recent Bigfoot sightings in the area. And then all of a sudden there's a video of Bigfoot and I'm like, oh, that's just them creating their own content. Bingo. People came into town to make a movie about Bigfoot and all of a sudden Bigfoot shows up. Well, they don't have to admit that they did this, but what they can now do is they can say, oh, there's been Bigfoot sightings in the area. Look at the news. There was a Bigfoot sighting right next to the train. They're creating their own news for their movie. Case closed. I'm sorry to tell you, when you add up the fact that it doesn't look like Bigfoot, I missed my finger. It doesn't act like Bigfoot, and there's people who stand to benefit, we have enough circumstantial evidence to say that this is debunked. I'm sorry. Bigfoot is real, but this is a man in a costume who's gingerly walking around. The only question that remains is, are the people who filmed it involved? Now, if they were to go and put this Bigfoot there and nobody were to film it, then it would be a waste of time. So I would speculate that somebody on the train is involved. Whether it's the people who filmed it or somebody was on the train to say, hey, what's that? Somebody filmed that. And then convinced other people on the train that it was real. That's probably what happened. Okay, let's move on because we've got more to cover. Let's take a look at these UAPs. We can't call them UFOs anymore. We have to call them UAPs.
What's UAP?
Unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Oh my God.
This is what the government calls them. Because unidentified flying object wasn't good enough. Okay.
What is a...
God, how are people's video skills so bad? Why is it so bad?
There's a part 2 to this, so let's... Another person's live footage.
I mean, that is pretty weird. Why would you take your camera off of it? Come on now. What are we doing?
They want to look with their eyes, probably.
What are we doing?
Sometimes you want to not look at the camera and you want to see it with your eyes. Take a look at the clouds in this. And watch how this thing's shaking all over the place. So it's not floating, it's like shaking back and forth. To me, somebody either put this in via, after they filmed it on like an editing software, or now they have these AR apps where it's kind of like, think about when you play Pokemon Go and you look through the phone and there's a Pokemon there. But you can tell the Pokemon's not really there because it's kind of off. It's moving a little bit, like, oh, you move the camera and the Pokemon's not quite there, but it's close enough to where it kind of feels like it is. So I feel like this could just be an AR app because, especially at the end here, you can see it's struggling to keep it in its same spot. The camera's not moving, but this thing is all over the place. It's totally still here, but this thing is I don't think it's real. So we'll say debunked. Here's a video called Little Popo. You gonna sneeze?
No, I'm just laughing.
Oh.
Because people can't spell.
I actually haven't seen this one, but apparently it's gonna show some, what do you call those little things? Gnomes or whatever?
You get it?
Yeah.
How is that?
Those are very clearly kids. This is like their kids that they're doing this with.
Oh my god.
There's two kids. You can see the first one's
I like the arm that just like shoots out like this for no reason. Yeah. My god.
I don't know what is.
People are so dumb.
What are we supposed to be believing here? That this is like some sort of mystical creature? Anyone who makes and uploads a video like this should be hung in the public square. That's how I feel. Yeah, and all those comments of people being like, hey, thanks for posting this. This is very enlightening. Come on, people, can you not be so goddamn stupid?
I work in the film industry. We're shooting a documentary. Me and our drone operator, basically what we do is we go out and find epic landscapes to use as B-roll. We put up the drone, got some pretty great shots, go back to our hotel room that night. Our drone operator kind of starts scrubbing through the footage. He comes up to us at dinner and his face is just like totally white. He's like, guys, I don't know what I just saw, but like we captured some crazy shit out there. The mountain range where you first see it was 3.5 miles away from where we were. The drone gets from the mountain range and it passes through screen in a second. And so you do that math, it's traveling 3.5 miles in a second. Like nothing travels that fast.
People here are claiming it's a insect, it's a bug, looks like a frisbee.
It's an insect.
I believe that this is real. Now, could this be faked? I suppose, yeah, it could be. But they would have done a great job.
These people are like fake, and yet they're going to this other video claiming no.
The little popo,
The little papa.
they're totally real. You can see it sort of like way in the distance, sort of comes down and drips, and then. And if you listen to this guy's full story, he sounds like a credible witness, which adds credibility to the story. So if I had to guess, we're gonna bunk it. This is bunked. I think this is real. All right, this is gonna be the last one. This is our only ghost video. Let's take a look. My husband died almost a year ago on April 7th, 2022, and our second son was only 3 months old. My husband never got to meet our baby in a meaningful way on Earth. I believe my husband is still here with us in some form, as this video shows, loving on us, and this gives me faith we will see him again. She's saying that this light is like him patting the head or something.
That sounds like a lovely story, but can't you take your phone and if you were like pointing the phone's camera at this, which is how they got the footage, or like camera over camera, you'd get that like white glare.
You could, that's a good thought, but it stays pretty consistently on his head.
Yeah, but like once you figured out, oh look, it makes this little like glare on his head, like in spirits, it's just like, oh, keep it there.
Okay, her account is entirely about his death. So she has reason to want to believe this is a ghost. She's going to believe that anything is a ghost. It's a stationary infrared cam is all it is. Probably not too high res. But hold on one second.
It appears there and there.
Where?
Like there and there was a glare at some point. Yeah. To the left. See it?
Yeah, but you could say, oh, that's like his arm. You know, that could be the counter argument to that. But the glare that's on the baby's head stays there off the baby's head. I think it's nice she can believe that this is him, and I don't want to be the one to say that it's not, but the glare is on his head. When the baby moves, it's off his head. An easy explanation for this is there could be like a tiny bug on the lens, or there could be a piece of dust on the lens, but I would have to hesitantly say, I don't think so.
Probably not.
I think it's a very sad situation, and she's obviously like grieving hardcore, but that creates an unreliable witness. We are cold, we are heartless, but we are seekers of the truth. So, and that's it. It's been such a long time since we've done this. It's so hard to find clips to go through, but we got a couple. So thank you everybody for coming. Do you agree? Do you disagree with any of our calls? What do you think? Let us know. Are we really that smart, or are we stupid? Let us know.
Like and subscribe, please.
All right, goodbye. We'll do this again. We'll always do it again.
Bigfoot, how big are your feet?
Enormous.
Do you want to destroy the deep state today?
Now that is a good idea, Ghost. It is always a good day to take out deep state scum. Just don't tell Anne. Or Mary Todd.
Yay! Burn, smash, kill!